Hi guys, today I'm going to explain to you why you should eat less often, why you should eat 1 or 2 meals a day instead of 3 or 4 or even more meals a day. And I want to emphasize that I'm not talking about eating less, I'm talking about eating less often. So you can eat the same amount of calories, the same amount of food, but you should eat that amount in 1 or 2 meals instead of 3 or 4 meals. And in this video, I'm going to explain the three huge benefits of eating less often. Fasting has a lot of benefits. It helps you to age less quickly. It also helps you to regulate your hormones. But I'm just talking about eating less often in general. So let's dive in. The first big benefit of eating less often is the gain of time. If you eat 2500 calories to maintain your weight, and you eat 2500 calories in 1 or 2 meals, it takes less time than if you do it on 3 or 4 meals. I think that's something we all agree with. And we hear that we can't absorb all the nutrients of the food that we're eating if we're eating too much at the same time, especially proteins. Some guys say that we can't eat more than 30 or 40 or 50 grams of protein per meal. But that's completely bro science, because in fact the body is much smaller than you think, and it can adapt to any given situation, whether you give it 1 or 2 meals a day or 3 or 4 meals a day. Some guys think that after literally thousands and millions of years of evolution, the human body can't absorb more than 40 grams of protein per meal. And if you go over 40 grams of protein, the rest is just gonna disappear just like magic. But the truth is, we can completely ingest all the protein because our body is just a real adapting machine. It can adapt to any given situation, as I said. But if you want a more scientific explanation, I put a link in the description below of one study, one really recent study published in 2023 about the protein synthesis. And the conclusion of the study was that the protein synthesis has no limitation in duration and magnitude, which means that if you have to eat 100 grams of protein in just one meal, you can absorb all that protein. You completely can. So you can absorb all the nutrients, all the protein if you eat big meals. That's not a problem. And as I said, the main benefits of eating less often is the gain of time. Because all the time you spend cooking, eating, and cleaning up, it's much bigger if you eat 3 times or 4 times a day than if you eat just once or twice a day. And this time that you gain can be redirected towards more productive activities like working or spending quality time with your family or your hobbies. And I can say that with certainty because I've tested it personally. When I was in high school, I used to eat 3 times or 4 times a day. For breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, and sometimes between lunch and dinner. But now I eat only twice a day. I'm doing some kind of intermittent fasting where I eat only around midday and I eat at night around 8 p.m. And I can say that the time I gain, it's tremendous. I used to eat breakfast every single morning, so I had to wake up before going to school. I had to wake up around 6 a.m. to actually cook, eat, wash the dishes, and then go to school. Whereas right now, I don't eat breakfast, so I gain a lot of time because I can sleep for longer, or I can work first thing in the morning, or I can do something else. I can go for a run, or for a lifting session, whatever. And by the way, I'm going to talk about training fasted at the end of the video, but training fasted is not really a problem if you're used to it. But anyways, the best way to find out is to try it by yourself. So I recommend you to try eating twice a day for lunch, let's say around midday, and for dinner around 8 p.m. And you're gonna see that in the morning you're gonna have much more time. Besides, the time you gain is more effective, which is my next point, which is the gain of productivity. You're going to be more productive if you eat less often. Why is that? Well, that's because digestion takes a lot of energy from your body. Any food that fills your gut, whether that's carbs, fats, or proteins, makes you feel sleepy, and even more if it's carbs, actually, because carbs are rich in tryptophan, which leads to sleepiness. On the other hand, fasted states leads to alertness. That's a hardwired circuit that relates to the need of finding food. Because in hundreds, as I said, thousands, millions of years of human evolution, the main goal was to hunt, to actually find food and be able to survive. Therefore, the work that you're gonna do in the morning while being fasted is gonna be very productive. You have to try it. But another thing that you can do in the morning is exercising. And so people say that you can't exercise if you're fasted, if you didn't eat for breakfast. But I'm gonna tell you something. 2 months ago, I ran a half marathon fasted, completely fasted. Of course, the night before and the days before, I ate a bunch of food, especially carbs. But in the morning before the race, I just took water and salt for electrolytes. You just have to get used to it. That's like everything else. As I said earlier, the body is an adaptation machine. If you get used to training fasted, your body is going to be prepared for it. The only thing that you really absolutely need if you train fasted is not food, it's water and electrolytes to actually hydrate your body. But other than that, you can actually train fasted and you're gonna be just fine. Personally, I prefer doing my cardio sessions like running fasted and my lifting sessions later in the day when I'm fed. And finally, the last big benefit of fasting and eating less often is that you find back the hunger sensation. As I told you earlier, the hunger sensation is necessary because when you're hungry, you're more alert, so you're more productive. But also, you enjoy more your food. You look at your plate and you stop eating on autopilot automatically. Because let's be honest, when you eat first thing in the morning before going to work or going to school, you don't particularly enjoy your food. You just eat because you have to. And by the way, something that's a bit more spiritual, but why would you eat first thing in the morning if you haven't done anything, you haven't achieved anything? So to sum up quickly, the first benefit was the gain of time, the second one was the gain of productivity, and the third one was that you find back the hunger sensation and that you enjoy more your food. Those three benefits are big benefits in your everyday life, not only if you're trying to optimize your health, your physical and mental health, but if you're just trying to optimize everything in your life. So you should really give it a shot. Try eating for maybe a whole week, just twice a day instead of 3 times a day, and you're gonna see a huge difference. That being said, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, to subscribe if you want to learn more about health, fitness tips, and how to improve your life in general. And I see you next time.